Hey, happy Tuesday. I gotta go grab my tea. Left it in the kitchen. It is Tuesday tea with me, your elite paparazzi consultant, number 6442. But I am here to talk to you about just things in general in business, right? So no matter what business you're in, you should be able to apply what I am sharing. Speaking of sharing, let me get my share on and you do the same. And then we're going to start today with part 4 on the start from the bottom. Now I'm here. So going forward, you'll have an idea of who I am, where I've come from, and how I have some kind of level of expertise to be able to share things with you. So let me do my sharing and you do the same. Oh, let's see. Gotta start here. Oh, you know what? They took my thing way down there. That's not cool, Facebook. So I will do it here then. Hello, come on in. Drop a number 2 if it is your first time in here with me catching the Tuesday tea with me. And I'm going to get my share and then we're going to get this started on this terrific Tuesday. Bam. All right, and I gotta share with my team, and then we're ready to get started. Part 4. Of the Tuesday tea with me. I've done 3 parts. Last week I talked about part 3 was living abroad and moving back. And then part 2 was ground floor. Do you really know what you're asking for when you say you want to be in a ground floor opportunity of something? And then the first week was before I Googled ways to make an extra $1,000 a month, what qualities or characteristics that I already have that went into helping me be a success and reaching a 6-figure mark in a direct sales or a multi-level marketing business. All right, one more place to get this shared to, and then we're going to get this started. Part 4. I'm excited to share because this journey has definitely taught me some things, and definitely some things I wish I had known before I had started on this journey, or things that I've learned along the way. All right, so my last share. Uh-oh, it's going to let me do it. Did it do it? No, okay. Sometimes Facebook is just does what it wants to do when it wants to do it, even though I do the same exact thing every Tuesday. All right, so welcome in. It's the Tuesday tea with me. Good morning. Today, part 4. Started from the bottom, now I'm here. Now there's definitely more to go, but I have made it to the 6-figure mark, and I want to take this time on Tuesday Teas to share with you how I got to where I'm at. So this is part 4. What I wish I had known, or based on if I knew then, what I knew now, what would I do differently? So it's about 5 points I'm going to talk on. There's things like last week I talked about living abroad. And there was a point where I was like, oh my goodness, if I had not moved abroad, I'd be way farther in this business. But there are some things, some lessons, some life lessons, some things that I learned while living abroad that helped me get to where I am, and helps me, which I will definitely talk about this point, helps me to help others based on that living abroad experience. And on top of that, my daughter got a chance to experience the world. So play something outside of America. Because something I've learned about living abroad is being an American is a great thing, but sometimes the media downplays or makes it look as if the best place to be is here. And there's so many things you can garner from living other places, and the ethics and the family culture and things that are worth bringing back here. Like when I lived abroad, the one thing I learned in the Middle East is family comes first no matter what. So as an educator living abroad, if we sent home too much homework and that interfered with the family time, the parents would come to school and say, hey, this is interfering with our family time. You need to reduce this amount of homework you're sending home. And so guess what happened? We reduced the amount of homework. If husbands said that the meetings that you're having after school are causing my wife to be away from home too much. Then guess what was reduced? Our meetings after school. Family came first at all costs. And your job or your school didn't interfere with the family dynamics. That's definitely something I brought back to America. So things that I would do for my job, when I came back as an educator, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it because my family time is important. When I get home, I need to help my daughter with her homework, and I can't be doing lesson plans because I need to help her with what she needs to do, or I need to spend time with my family. So that's definitely something I learned living abroad. So after review, that is not something that I would change. I also, when moving back, I thought to myself, like, oh, if I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't have moved back to America and got a teaching job. I would have just went straight into doing my business full time. But then there are some things that I learned being a teacher back in America, then moving up to being an academic coach, where I coach teachers on things to help them better meet their students' needs in the classrooms. And then I became an assistant principal. And so those things allowed me to be in a position to coach adults, which is definitely a different game than teaching kids. And those skills have been transferable into what I do that helped make me a six-figure earner in a direct sales or multi-level marketing business, because I'm definitely working with adults. And the difference between working with adults in this business and being a leader to adults in this business and being a leader to adults in a career is that in a career, even if somebody hates coming to work every day, it is my job as their manager, as their leader, and as a career job to still help them be successful, because we have a bottom line to meet. So in education, it has to do with kids learning and them reaching a certain level. So even though she can't stand her job, but she's still showing up here every day, or he is still showing up here every day, as a coach, I need to try to get them to do what they need to do so these students can get where they need to get. Well, it's different in multi-level marketing direct sales, because this isn't something you have to do. You are choosing to do it. And this isn't something I have to help you with. I'm choosing to help you. And so if you decide that you join this business and don't want to do anything with it, then I don't have to help you. But if you decide that you join this business with me and partner with me, and you have certain goals you want to meet, then I can help you with those goals. So there's no pressure for me to have to work. There's nobody on my back saying, Christy, you got to help this person change their life. No, I don't. Because if they don't want it, then I can't help them get it, right? So there's about 5 things I want to touch on today, that things if I wish I knew then what I knew now, lessons I've learned. So one thing is reaching for the sky. If I knew then what I knew now, I would have set my goals past anything that I could have imagined. Because looking at my past and what has happened, and I have a team right now in this business of over 80,000 consultants. So I get to interact with people with various different backgrounds, with very different wants for their business. And the one thing I've seen from my business and from working with other people's business is that when I set a goal, I would reach it. And I thought to myself, like, I set my goal too small. Like, if you watch part 1 of this series, I Googled ways to make an extra $1,000 because that's what I needed at the time. And then when I reached that goal, I was like, you know what? Let me increase that to an extra $3,000 a month. And then when I reached that, I was like, wait a minute. I can work full time and not feel like I'm sacrificing the things that I need as far as time with family, and make $3,000, extra $3,000 a month. So let me increase that to $5,000. And when I pushed it to $5,000, I met it. $5,000 extra a month. And it made me think, you know what, honestly, if I believed, or didn't even, belief is definitely an important aspect, because what you think up here is what will happen. So if you don't think you can reach $1,000, then you won't. If you don't think you can reach $3,000, then you won't. But if you believe that it's possible, if you believe you can make $10,000 a month, right? Then you will take the actions and do the things and put yourself into situations and take yourself out of situations, which leads to my point number 3 that I'm going to get to, that will make it happen. So I know you've heard this, you're listening to motivational things all the time, or you're going to church and the preacher's preaching, you hear this all the time, but reach for the sky. If your goals don't scare you, if you are like, oh my gosh, I'm putting it out there, I don't know how I'm going to get it. Like my team and I just hit a new rank of fashionista. When I tell you that it was on my board, that is what I wanted to reach. But I didn't see how it was going to happen. I was doing the numbers. And I was like, based on where my team is right now, if this person does this, and this person does this, and this person does this, like, we still don't add up to being a fashionista team as far as numbers were concerned. And come to find out, we hit it. We hit it as a team because people did because they believed they could, right? Honestly, they went to work last month and hit their goals because they believed they could. Now, if you ask them a month or two before if they thought that they were going to hit that, probably not. Did they think their customers would buy that amount of jewelry? Probably not. They think that they would go back in and order a percentage and put a percentage aside? Probably not. But once they believed that we were going to be a fashionista team, they put in the work to build their own businesses, and it happened. So you have to reach for the sky. Go above and beyond. Like, what is the ultimate? What do you think right now would literally set your household, if it's financial numbers, right? Set your household in a totally different situation. The situation you want it to be in. Is that an extra $5,000 a month? Then that's your goal. Reach for it. Here's the thing. If you reach for it and fall short, you'll still be doing better than if you hadn't reached for it at all. Something else I've learned in this business is consistency is key. Now, I never had an issue, probably more so now than any other time in my 8 years in this business, of being consistent. People ask me, what did I do in the beginning? I look back and I don't know how I managed to pull it off. But literally, I would go teach, pick my daughter up. She would be with me at the events. She had piano. Like, I had my daughter in piano. She was doing karate. This was like when she was 5 years old. She was doing all three. And what else? Something else she was doing at school. I know it was karate and piano for sure. The good thing is that it happened in her school was piano and karate. But then when she moved to a different school, this was like pre-K. She moved to a different school. They didn't have that. Like, she went to public school basically. And so I wanted her to continue to take piano. So I would drive her to the piano teacher who happened to be not too far away in our neighborhood. And then I would do events on the weekend and one during the week. So I go to people's house, set up jewelry like on Wednesday. And then I would also do a vending event on Saturday. I remember us getting up early in the morning on Saturdays, packing up the car with jewelry, with tents. We would sit outside at vending events that may cost $25 or $50. So they were and I was driving. So I lived on the east side of Atlanta, and we were driving all the way over to the northwest side to do a $25 vending event at a church. So it was like a yard sale. But I was out there, okay? I was out there. So consistency wasn't a thing. But here's the one thing that I've learned that I wish I knew then, that I've learned over the time now. So I'm telling it to you so that you don't have to take that time of learning it. Just do it, right? Take my word for it. Consistently surrounding myself with those who have what I want. All right? So not just consistently in my business, but consistently surrounding myself. I look at the circle that I had, and not just like friends, but like people in general that I was surrounding myself with. And they were either where I was at or not even in business at all. So they couldn't even relate to the sacrifices that I was making. And I wish I had like now in Facebook, there are people who make more than six figures, because I don't want to stay here at six figures. Hashtag 7-figure future is what I'm going for, right? And so on Facebook, you have the option of following people, and then you can put their post to show up first. So when you sign into Facebook, their post can come first. All right. So when you sign in, instead of seeing all the garbage, you can see exactly what you want to see first. So that's what I do now. People that I follow, their stuff comes first. And I'm talking about people who make 7-figure futures, people who are positive and put out positive things. That's the first thing I want to see if they post it, I want to see it first when I sign to Facebook. So sometimes consistently surrounding yourself around people who are doing what you want to do, not where you're at, but are where you want to be in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, can be people virtually on YouTube. Follow them. Get a notification every time they post something. What are they doing? What were they doing when they are where you want to be? Because the 7-figure future, if they're making 7 figures, I'm not there yet. But what were they doing before they hit 6 figures? What were they doing before they hit $250,000? What were they doing right before they hit $500,000? Like, those are the things that I need to find out, right? So if they have a YouTube channel, I may not want to watch what they're doing now. I may want to watch what they were doing 3 years ago. So then I can do that kind of stuff to lead up to where they are now, right? It's great to watch people. Like, people watch me now where I'm a 6-figure earner. I haven't always been there. I shared on my Facebook page in 2013 where my commission was $235. And my sales, my jewelry sales for the entire year was $1,700. But honey, I felt like I was doing something. When that $200 hit my commission, I was in my living room like, hey, $200. That was a come up for me, right? So the people that I was following then were not millionaires, because I had a ways to go before I hit millionaire. I wasn't even making $5,000 a year in jewelry sales. But I was following people who were making $3,000 a month or $3,000 for the year, because they were doing better than I was doing. So I needed to know what they were doing. So first thing, if I knew then what I knew now, would be to reach for the skies. Don't set my goals so low. Set them where it blows my mind so I can work towards that. Then the next thing is consistency is key. Nikki, I see you. I definitely will respond to you. I put down your names. I'll send you a message. The next thing is consistency is key, but not just consistently sharing your opportunity or sharing your business, but consistently putting yourself in circles of people who have what you want so you can watch their actions and what they've done to get there. Also, number 3, protecting your peace at all times. If I knew then what I knew now, I would protect my peace. The things that you have to do, if your circle is sitting in like how you are right now, the things that you're going to have to do to get more out of life is going to require you to do something different than what your circle is doing. And so if they're around you and they don't respect your hustle and your grind, they don't respect, you feel some level of guilt because you like, I can't hang out, like I can't go out. And they like, girl, come on, you're always doing that. Sit that to the side. Now, if they saying that because you with somebody in a relationship who ain't doing you good, then you might want to listen. If they're saying that because you're down and out and they know the way to get you out of being sad, sorrowful, and being a pity party, then you might want to listen. But if they're trying to pull you away from what is going to help you reach for the sky, then you might need to protect your peace. All right? And they may not understand, but I promise you this. 8 years in the business, the ones who didn't understand my grind when I was 2 years in, 3 years in, and 4 years in are now saying to me, you know what, Christy, I remember when you were doing this. I watched your journey. I see you. I'm so proud of you. All right. It took them 8 years to get to that point. But if I hadn't protected my peace and shielded what was important to me at year 2, at year 1, at year 3, we wouldn't be at the point at year 8 where I'm making 6 figures. And now they're saying, I saw you grind. I'm watching what you're doing. I see the moves you're making. I want to be where you're at. Okay. And I remind them, if you say you want to be where I at, remember when you was looking at me like, oh, she ain't trying to hang out with us no more. Remember that, because you're about to face that too if you want to get where I'm in or surpass where I've gotten. Okay. Number 4, build based on your strengths. Build based on your strengths. What does that mean? We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. But a lot of us, including me, spend so much time trying to reduce our weaknesses that we don't take the time to use our strengths to build what we have to the next level. So everybody has some weaknesses, right? And there's definitely, I'm not saying don't work on yourself, but I'm saying you have some strengths. Like, you might be the best at organization. All your friends are like, girl, can you come to my house and organize this? You might be the best at creating things. Like, you're crafty beyond nobody's business. And you don't even realize it until somebody points it out. Like, well, I could have never done that. If you hear people saying, I could have never done that, I don't know how you do that. And it's something that you do without thinking about it, with ease, without thought, like you just pretty much wake up and just get it done. That is something someone is willing to pay for. Listen to me now. Anything that you do well, with ease, without thinking about it, it's just naturally, it is a strength. somebody's, a lot of people are willing to pay for that. How do I know? Because if I knew then what I knew now, I'd spend more time working on my strengths and capitalizing on what comes natural to me. And then finding someone who does things that are my weaknesses with ease and let them take care of my weaknesses. So I get paid for my strengths, and then I outsource my weaknesses and let somebody else cover that. If I knew then what I knew now, I'd spend more time capitalizing on what is a strength for me, and then being willing, because somebody's going to pay me for that, and they have. This isn't the first thing in business or struggle that or not struggle, but business or hustle that I've had. I've had a resume writing business. Did I love writing resume? No, I didn't love writing resumes, but I was good at it. I knew how to write a resume in my sleep. You tell me what you've done and I could put it together, right? I'd make $50, $75, $100 per resume. Create an LLC for it and everything. And people ask me, you still doing resumes? No, child. I didn't like doing that, but I knew it would make me money and I could do it without thinking about it. So it's a strength. So people were willing to pay me for my strength. And so the money that I was making for that, I was willing to pay somebody else for my weaknesses. Like my jewelry room, I'm looking for somebody to come up here, and I have the system set up. I know exactly what needs to be done, but I can't for the life of me make myself put this stuff in my system. So what did I do? It's a weakness. I'm getting paid for my strengths, and I am outsourcing and paying somebody else for my weakness. So somebody else uploaded. I paid them. They uploaded all my jewelry to my website, because I can spend time trying to make myself do something like that, but that's not going to make me money, because it's taking away from the things that will make me money that come natural. So that's number 4. If I knew then what I knew now, build your empire based on your strengths, and then know at some point you need to pay somebody to cover the parts that are your weaknesses. Number 5, and I think this is a good point to end on. There's only 5 points. Number 5, let me check the time. Oh, good timing, yay. Number 5, God doesn't operate in a you world. What does that mean? God doesn't operate in a you world. He opened doors. When doors are open for you, for your blessings and for your opportunities, and he gives you a seat, God gives you a seat at the table, it is because you are the vault to which others' blessings will come. Simply, what does that mean? It's not about you. Now, I could say 8 years in it, I learned this maybe around year 4, right? And sometimes people will say, and people have said to me, Christy, why are you still working your job? Like, why haven't you quit? Why aren't you doing your business full time? And I had a lot of reasons why. I still loved my full-time career job. I did. I still loved waking up, going to it, and making a difference. And the moment that stopped is when I was like, y'all can have this, and I'm going to go do me full-time. But there was a time in my business that this window went off, like, oh, the eyes open. I went to convention one year, and this was the year that I guess everybody realized who I was in the paparazzi business, right? Meaning, where I was in the lineage, or where I stood as in their upline. So before, people didn't know. I was living abroad, so that wasn't a face. So they didn't, it was a name, a mystery, whatever. But I was physically back in the States, and I was at convention, and everybody and their mom was coming. I had my sister with me, because she came with me, because I was like, I can't do this convention by myself. Like, hey sister, come with me. She was almost like my assistant while I was there. And my best friends, we were all in the same hotel suite together. And they were like, wow, Christy, like, you're something like a big deal. And when I was there, I couldn't take a step. I couldn't go downstairs to get something to eat without it taking me an hour to get back upstairs, because people were stopping, giving me hugs. Hey, how you doing? So glad to meet you. Can I get a picture? We were taking selfies, all that. That moment, I realized that I hadn't reached the success that I had reached prior to that, because I wouldn't have been ready for that moment. I wouldn't have been ready for that. At that time, if that moment had happened at any other time in my life, I wouldn't have been the gracious and the humble person that people describe me as now. I'd have been an itch. I'd have been like, anybody trying to take no picture? Like, leave me alone. I'm trying to get back to my room. Like, what is this? Like, stop. But at that point in my life, that door opened because I was ready for it. I had learned how to protect my peace. So I wasn't at convention with an attitude. I wasn't at convention worried about stuff back home. I was at a good place because I had learned how to protect my peace. Thus, I was open and willing and happy to give out hugs. And like I said to people, kissing babies and taking pictures. I was more than happy to do that because I know how I got there and why I'm there, right? And so I said to say that know that when a door is open for you, that yes, you might be amazing. You might have all the skills in the world, but God is not just opening that door for you. He's opening that door for others. It's not all about you. And that is my number 5. Things I wish I had known then that I know now. That the journey, God could have picked anybody to be consultant number 6442, to be at the beginning of a line of over 80,000 consultants. But he saw fit to pick me for that time and that place, right? And if I wasn't ready for it, then it would have blocked so many other people. If I wasn't open to the lessons that I had to learn, if I wasn't open to going beyond what I could see and believing that there was so much more to this and there was so much more to it than just me. And this happened over an 8-year time period. I know for sure that my team hit the level of fashionista even when I couldn't see it, because it stopped being about me. It stopped being about what this business is going to do for me and my household. Now, don't get me wrong. It's still made a big change. Like, I'm here on a Tuesday morning, sitting in the comforts of my house, in my office, sharing with you what has happened over the last 8 years. So there's definitely been blessings for me. But just as easily, or not as easy, because I work now, I ain't gonna lie. But just as quickly, or not quickly, because it's been 8 years, but just as happy and as blessed as I am now, if I close my mind to this being about more than me, then God will close all these blessings that he's opened up for me. All right? So that is it. Thank you so much for joining me in here on this Tuesday Tea with me. If you've missed the other 3, please go back and catch the other 3 parts of this series, which was number 1, before Googling ways to make an extra $1,000 a month, what was I doing? Who was Christy? Number 2 was the ground floor opportunity. Do you really know what you're asking for? Because everybody's like, oh, I wish I had come in at the ground floor. Are you made for that? Because some people aren't made for what I had to do and what other people who were in this beginning business in the very beginning had to go through, the changes. Because some of you are not the change type. Somebody move your cheese and you're going to fall out. You can't take it. There's a lot of cheese that's been moved in this last 8 years. And if you don't know, that's a book, Who Moved My Cheese. But in the last 8 years that I ran with, I appreciate the changes. Number 3 is I moved abroad and I came back. So what did that do for me and my business? And then last but not least, which you have watched today, so if you came at the end, go back and catch the hashtag replay. And that is, if I knew then what I knew now, which I just shared 5 tips with you. All right, so this is the end of Started from the Bottom, Now I Am Here, and how I became a 6-figure earner with a direct sales multi-level marketing business. So stay tuned. If you haven't liked my business page, go out of here and like it and follow. And stay tuned for what the next series is going to be on. And it's all about business tips, but it comes from my perspective of being 8 years in this business and now doing it full time and saying deuces to my career in education, where I had a whole master's degree in. So if you have anything that you'd like for me to touch on for my next series, I'm definitely taking ideas. You can comment below or shoot me a message of some ideas that you would like for me to touch on that you think would benefit you or your direct sales or multi-level marketing team that I can touch on for the next series. All right, before I get out of here, make sure you hand out 5 compliments today. Do it with a smile. The good Lord gave it to you, that smile that is, so you might as well share it. Be blessed. Oh, and 12 o'clock, I'll be over at my personal page for the lunchtime live with some $5 accessories. Bye.